but I'm glad I was able to do that for you.
Yes. The
I have
shade and a roller.
I have 3 gua sha. Oh, I take it back. I had 3, and then the most common shape I broke like shortly after I started using it. So I have like 2 weird shaped ones that I think I'm just bitter about it. And
Did you save the one that you broke, or did you throw it away?
I think it got tossed, and I don't
Okay.
think I threw it out, and I'm just gonna leave it there.
If it's a real crystal and it breaks, it means that it needs to be in your life.
Oh, really? It
Like
was jade.
That's like the philosophical side of it is like, this is working extra hard for you, and it's like fragmenting into your life.
Oh my God, that's like good old fashioned Catholic guilt.
I can't relate to that, but
you broke me and I'm yours forever.
All right, well then never mind, throw it away. So,
it's gone already.
So my plans for tonight was to do some business type of coaching, and I found a pretty cool little template for us to stick to and kind of get off course to, I hope. And it brings up the Strengths Finder. So like, I don't know if you guys are at all into knowing what your strengths are, or if you've ever checked that out. And I know doTERRA is affiliated with it. So there's been times where like I felt like it hasn't super served me. And then there's also been times I've really leaned into that information. And then I'm also going to disclaimer, if you hopped on later after I said this or you're watching the recording, I'm also dealing with like the worst cold sore of my life. So I'm just going to like get that out there that that's happening. I'm feeling a little bit in my vein feelings about it. And also we have the Gua Sha set that is a great promo for Mother's Day and just to have. I love all the stuff doTERRA is doing right now with the Yarrow Palm and how you can get in on getting a free Yarrow Palm body serum if you have 3 enrollments before June 30th. Is it June 30th? Or am I making it up? It's either June 30th or June 1st, but I think it's June.
No, I think it goes through the end of June.
Okay.
I think so too.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to double check. And then if you get the 5 enrollments, you'll get the rose facial mist. So I love the themes around Yarrow Palm right now. And I felt like maybe it's just appropriate we do a little bit of how to do gua sha and like what the history is. And like, so that way, if you have customers who get it, you'll have like just a quick thing. doTERRA has already put out a ton of great content around different videos and how to do gua sha yourself. But I think it's always just good to reiterate it. So with that being said, I got ready and did my nighttime routine so that way I could do gua sha for you guys if you wanted to see it. So I'm like, I'm not going to put any makeup and cover up my honk and cold sore. I'm just going to be real with you all. And this is real life. I could be hiding in my closet right now in my cave, or I could come on here and just show my pretty face. So here we are. So with that being said, did anybody get the Gua Sha collection, like the actual set from doTERRA? Okay, cool. So I'll show you mine too. All right, I'm gonna pull a soul truth card. Before I get into that, is there anything on anybody's mind or announcements or anything like that I'm forgetting about?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
It says Yarrow Palm, but it says active botanical nutritive duo.
Yeah, you're right. That's the right one. Yarrow Palm.
Okay, so this, and the body serum is something different than this.
Yeah,
Okay.
the body serum's in like a different bottle, and it
Okay.
says body renewal serum on it.
Is it blue as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit more translucent, but it's still blue. So 3 enrollments and it's yours. That's what doTERRA is sending out to everybody if they get their 3 enrollments.
I got one.
You're a third of the way there.
I know. My one is usually equal. It's equal to what I normally do. It's almost 3 for me. Normally I'm 100 PV, but this was almost 300 PV. So
Oh,
I don't think that counts, right?
I know it should. It really
Yeah.
should. It should just be like
Yeah.
every new 100 PV.
Yeah.
All right, so this is perfect for tonight. How can I infuse more self-love and compassion into my daily life? By doing gua sha every day. That is it. So if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. Buddha. Today's soul action. Choose one self-care action to do today. And I'll just go through the list quick that's on here. Set stronger boundaries, meditate and listen to your heart, speak to yourself with compassion, focus on your strengths, say no to something that isn't a soul yes, say yes to something you are afraid of, let go of what you cannot control, stay far away from drama and negativity, ask for help and allow it, and write down 3 things that you are grateful for. Cool. So I love it. And I feel like this can segue nicely into what we are going to talk a little bit about. And then, well, actually, let me share the gua sha stuff. This is perfect segue into that. So I got the kit, what do we want to call it? The Gua Sha Beauty Collection. And it comes with the Gua Sha stone, but honestly, you can get these from anywhere. You can get them on Amazon. If you really want to like do your due diligence around what sort of stone to get, make sure you're getting one that's ethically sourced. Sometimes they're like made in a lab, and just like there's a whole world to essential oils, crystals and all that thing have their synthetic competitors as well. So if you really want to make sure you're getting a good quality one, do your research around that. I feel pretty comfortable in thinking that doTERRA's done that. And just by holding it, it feels like it's really good quality. It has this like little rippled texture at the end, which I don't really see that on a lot of the conventional gua sha stones. And I was looking into it, and it's really just for different technique. I don't know if you can like super see that. And I just thought it makes a nice gift too. And then you're also going to get the yarrow palm oil, which feels, yeah, it's 15 milliliters. But then the body serum that comes with it is a little bit smaller. It's 1.5 fluid ounces versus the traditional one is 3.4. So I'm assuming this smaller one is the one that we're going to get for our enrollments too.
I'm gonna look that up while you're talking, because I was just thinking that too.
I could tell it was smaller in the picture. So,
Oh, okay, for sure is that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know about the one with the enrollments, but I could tell in that like bundle of the yarrow palm. So
Oh, gotcha.
I'm just getting my hair out of the way. And so when you start with gua sha, so what I like to do is I mix together in an empty, so this is my old body serum, and I mix together in here an entire bottle of yarrow palm, and then the whole thing of the serum in the Virage line. So I mix those 2 together, put them in this bottle. And basically what you want to think of with gua sha is it's a technique to really help penetrate your products, help get them into your skin. And it's great for lymphatic drainage, just for like some gentle facial massage. So think of things like fine lines and just helping like depuff everything and really help penetrate your skin. And so just to give you like a little bit of background with gua sha, if it's done on the body other than the face, it's actually meant to help bring up any stagnant chi to the surface. So when it's done on the body, it's intended to leave behind redness. It's literally gua sha translates to like chasing the dragon, scraping It's like a scraping technique, and you want to bring up redness if you're doing it on the body. And that's really to help move and clear out any stagnation, excess, or deficient chi, and bring it up to the body. But when we're doing it on our face, we're being much more gentle, and you don't want to like leave your gua sha treatment with red face, right? Like that's not what we're trying to do. There's different reasons why we do that on the body, and it's to help decrease inflammation and pain. When we're doing it on the face, it's more so to help clear any stagnant fluid that gets filled up, and help bring whatever product that we have deeper into our tissue. And so we do it really light on your face. And this stone, this is a rose quartz. I also like a lot of times you see like a jade stone. So with the rose quartz, it's just really nice, pretty looking. Also, like rose quartz is great for raising your vibration and just all of the good self-love vibes. So if you want to take it to the next level, you're also going to want to like set your intention and give yourself some self-love talk while you're doing this. You could also keep it in the fridge to keep it nice and cool, but this has just been out in my kitchen and it's still very cold, like just because of the stone itself, it stays colder. So yeah, before I start doing it, I just was trying to bring up some slides on my computer, but now it's freezing. So I guess that's not going to happen. I wanted to share a little bit of the history, but I guess that's not going to happen. Yeah, I can't find it. It's funny because gua sha was actually recently in the last couple of years taken out of the scope of massage therapy practice. Like we can't do it on people anymore, technically, the scraping, but probably because like a lot of things, it gets overdone and overused, and maybe people were like hurting other people with too much scraping. So anyways, you're really gentle when you do this on your face. It's not trying to induce any sort of redness. And so I've already put some moisturizer on. After I wash my face, I put my combination that I showed you, but I'm just going to do a little bit more because it's sucked up in and you do want a pretty moist surface. So I like to start with this right on the back of my neck. So I don't know if you can fully see me. I like to just go right up. So I go right up my spine, right up to the base of my head. And that's where I start this. So it's nice if you have something that you can get your hair out of the way with. So I do that about 3 times. You can use this like rough edge to go on the left and right side, just on the back of your neck. And this is just an upward motion. There is like some controversy if you go towards your heart or up, but the way I've always looked at it as like anything with my neck and face, like we want a face lift, right? Like we want everything to go up. So when you're doing lymphatic drainage on your body, to go towards your heart is good, but on your face, you always want to go up. And if you start with the left side, it starts, that just helps promote lymphatic drainage even more so. And you could get like really specific. So like say you had like tight neck muscles through here, that's when you can use like that lip and just go right up your neck. And you want to repeat everything pretty slow. We always say like the weight of a nickel, that's like 5 grams of weight. So it's really light pressure. And do everything like 3, 4, 5 times. And so then you'll just go right through your face, and everything is kind of just in a little bit of an upwards motion. And you're dragging it light. And then if you do just a little light vibration at the end of your stroke, that's just going to help improve the lymphatic drainage. And this really just helps like sculpt everything too. You do see a noticeable difference just right away when you look like left to right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about, because I'm just trying to figure out how I can kind of like habit stack.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you think you could do in the shower while you're washing your face or no?
I would say no, just because you want to be kind of putting your final products on with this.
Gotcha.
Because it's really going to help penetrate. Oops, I just realized somebody's in the waiting room. Whoopsies. So yeah, and then you just go all the way up through. Same thing with your forehead. This little part, the little indent is great for over your nose. And this is also really nice if you have like allergy stuff going on. It can help just move everything around. And then you'll do the same thing to your right side. I should get like up close and see if you can tell if there's any difference, right to left. But it's super easy. And I think like the biggest thing too is just when you do it consistently, maybe in the morning or maybe at night or maybe both, if you can take the time for both. And I know for me, like if I have any sort of like tension headache, I love to grab my little jade roller that I keep in my fridge, but honestly, this Gua Sha stone works better. It's a little bit more effort versus just kind of like rolling around your jade roller. But I think it's totally worth it. You could definitely do this up to twice a day, Connie. That would be recommended. And it's super light. You're not being aggressive when you're doing it. You want it to be light. You want less is more with this. So doing it twice a day, but not a lot of pressure, just super light. And it's just great for your skin. It helps penetrate your products. It is going to just lift and be kind of like a natural Botox. So if you've ever looked into the Yarrow Palm challenges that people have done and you see the before and after effects with using Yarrow Palm on the daily, it's amazing to see that before and after. So if you do this, I would encourage you to share it with your team, to kind of do like before and afters. I've seen people right now that are doing just like one side of their face and not the other to like see the compare and contrast. And then also just making this a part of your daily routine. And if we are going to have it stack, do it right after you put your moisturizer on, whether it's night or daytime, but I would try to do it both if you've got the time for it and infuse it with those good thoughts and vibes to yourself as you do it. So does anybody?
When you got to the end, when you got to the end, what did you do?
It's just like you're just going to the end and you're just giving it a little shake, almost like a little vibration. Yeah, as you get to the end.
I didn't hear what you said. Okay.
Yeah. And I really, if you get the one from doTERRA, it's got that like rigid edge and that feels really nice on your neck. It almost gives it like just a little surface area. But if you don't have the one from doTERRA, it's okay.
Hey, Brett, I've seen people do videos where they like kind of hold the skin taut and then like really iron out these 11s in the middle here. I'm very curious about that because I'm sitting here looking at myself, staring at you with my 11s.
Yeah, I mean, I would try both. I will say though, from the perspective, so Gua Sha has roots in Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine, and the lines get a little blurred as to where exactly it came from. But just bringing it back to like beauty and why that is so important is like how our health shows up on our face. And when we get those lines from the perspective of Ayurvedic, it is a sign that we are worrying too much. And that's why those show up. So when you were saying that about like holding it tight, that's almost like kind of counter.
That's what,
yeah,
it sounds like the opposite of what you're saying, which is very light and everything. But I've seen people go like the complete opposite way where they're like erasing them with
and like I would be curious to like look into that too. But everything that it just seems like everything is very much like it should be soft and flowing, and you'll probably see immediate results with that, holding it tight and doing it, because like you can see immediate results when you do this. But I guess kind of like how we do one thing is how we do all the things. And then when it comes in with this, it's kind of like the more soft and gentle that we are, I think you're going to see that like sustained and making it more of a habit than, oh shit, I'm going out to dinner in 20 minutes. Let me clean up my fine lines or something like that. But yeah, that I have seen that too. And I think there's a lot to be said for the fascia, and we have fascia all over our body, all over every muscle, every surface of our body, we have fascia. And fascia is still something that there's a lot that we don't know about, but that it does respond well to lighter touch. But then you'll see some contradictory information that like more pressure is better when it comes to fascia. So I think what works for you is awesome. Like if you can figure out what it is, just like some people like a deeper tissue massage and some people like more like light pressure. So find what works for you, but I don't know. It's just interesting because I've always seen it on the face as like you want to be more gentle, but I think we do have that thing about us where we no pain, no gain. Like we want to feel it so we get the results. So I would say like try it both ways and see what works for you. Cool. So I mean, and with that, like, I'm not going to use it unless it's easy and easy and accessible for me. So like to incorporate that into my skincare routine after I moisturize and I keep it right there on my kitchen or bathroom sink, that's when I'm going to use it. And then I like to cleanse these every like time I use them, and I'll just use my On Guard hand soap and wash it. So that way I'm not, contaminating my skin after I've cleaned it all up. So I think it's a great addition. I think it's something really nice to give as a gift, to teach your team how to use. There's a ton of great resources that doTERRA has put out to do that. And so if we're good with the gua sha, I know that was kind of like quick, but not really. So I just want to shift gears a little bit and we'll talk about the Strength Finder stuff if there isn't any other gua sha questions.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
I have CPAP machine, I don't know what you want to call it, mess on my face. So I'm going to see, I'm going to be motivated, see what I can do with it.
Well, and I feel like your skin is going to love just like that little bit of extra attention and helping smooth everything out. So
Thank you.
yes, thank you. So if you guys have not heard, who has, just show of hands, heard about Strength Finder through Gallup? Okay.
I've heard of it, but I've never done it.
Okay. And I was kind of brand new to doTERRA, and it was one of those like things with the bright shiny lights, and I'm like, oh, let me check this out. And so this was a couple years ago, and then it was kind of just on the back of my mind. I never really like looked into it too much, but lately I've really just been feeling like, let me fully embrace what I'm good at and kind of leave behind everything that's not serving me and just stepping more into my strengths. And then I think when I do that, I will be able to see maybe the light of other people on my team who are better at things than me, and I can lean in with them and they can reciprocate with me as well. So I just wanted to share that. And if you're not familiar with it, how you can access it. I'm not saying like you need to go out and do this and it's going to be the end all be all that really shifts your business or something like that. But I know a lot of times in the doTERRA world, you hear the Strengths Finder information coming up. And so I just wanted to share like where you can find that. And if you go right into your back office, there's actually a pull down tab on your top in the Wellness Advocate Services, right at the top of your doTERRA back office page, where you can go in and find your strengths, because doTERRA is affiliated with the Gallup Strengths Finder. So I think there's something like 34 or 35 strengths that we all have. And then you focus on your top 5. And I remember going to one of Brianne Hovey's retreats, and she was saying how even if you take your Strengths Finders test again in like 5 or 10 years after you do it initially, it's pretty much guaranteed that those strengths are always going to come up. And I can fully attest to that, because when I first found out what my strengths were, I didn't really resonate with all of them. And my number 1 strength is futuristic. And what does that mean? I'm like, futuristic? I don't even know if I'm coming or going half the time. Like, I don't know, like it just didn't really like super resonate with me. Like I didn't see that. And then now here we are. That was like 2019 when I found that out. And I just think now I'm like, no wonder doTERRA resonated with me so much then, and like where I was at, because I could kind of see where I was wanting to go. And just recently, those strengths have been coming up for me more and more, and where it's so much easier to focus on what you're good at versus like trying to fix the other parts of you that don't feel in alignment with you, with your business. Like, why not just lean into where you feel good and confident? And yes, sometimes being uncomfortable is where we see the most growth, but why not focus on our strengths? So with this exercise that I'm going to do is just kind of give you an invitation and ask you a bunch of questions that'll help access your inner truth. And if any of the questions you don't have an immediate answer, it's totally okay. So if you want to pull out a pen and a piece of paper, maybe you can just jot them down. And if you don't have an answer right away, you can like sit with that later or do a meditation on it, and just let that answer eventually naturally come into you, no matter how long it takes. And just knowing that we've planted the seed with asking that question, and that it's gonna come up to you maybe at some point later on. So if you're ready to dive in, and we'll just kind of take a deep grounding breath together. I've got about 6 questions I'm going to ask, and just jot down the first couple things that come into your brain. Totally try to detach from any sort of outcome, and just trust yourself, and know that these questions do have the potential to transform your business. So let's just bring some awareness to wherever we're at right now, and jot down 3 things that you can celebrate right now about your doTERRA business. What are 3 things that you can celebrate right now? Oh, I just muted a couple people. Sorry, there was noise in the background. The next question is, what are 3 recent things that you are proud of yourself for in building your doTERRA business? And if they're not recent, that's okay too. In what ways have you noticed a strength grow in yourself? So far we have, what can you celebrate about your doTERRA business right now? 3 recent things you're proud of yourself for in building your doTERRA business. And in what ways have you noticed a strength grow in yourself? What immediate growth would you like to see in your doTERRA business? So with what immediate growth would you like to see in your doTERRA business? And the next question is, why do you believe you haven't seen this result yet? And our last question around awareness is, what do you believe you might be missing? So what do you believe might be missing? So if anybody wants to share anything that came up, as we all know, usually when we share, it can resonate for somebody else too. So if anybody has anything blooming that they want to share, please do so.
I was going to sneeze. Sorry. I can share. I just under the second question that you asked, 3 things that you're proud of. And I feel like these are great things to meditate on, but these are just things that came to my head right away. So I've gotten really good lately at listening to those signals my body sends me. Like it might be a gut reaction or a physical sensation I get when I hear something or I'm in conversation. And I've been really good at just like letting it stop me in my tracks and go, what the hell does that mean? And then acting on that versus like external things that I maybe typically would have acted on. And then it's 3 things. Getting clear on my finances. So I'm doing a big deep dive on that right now, which has been super fun. I'm not kidding. It actually has been fun. And then also I've been making an intentional effort to really celebrate where I currently am, just stopping and recognizing how far I've come versus like how far I want to go, because that can be a very defeating feeling. So those are a couple things around the proud area I wanted to share.
I love those. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Cool. So my next question for everybody is, do you believe that you are capable of achieving and receiving the growth that you want in your business? So do you see those possibilities? Do you think that you are capable? And not only do you think that, do you believe that? If you answered no, then what is it that you need to know about yourself to believe that 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 is a possibility for you. And if you do think it's possible, are you willing to do what it takes to get that desired result? If anybody needs me to repeat that, let me know.
My handwriting's sloppy. Would you mind typing them? Just
Yeah,
like
I'll
in the
send this
Facebook
through.
like later. Not,
Yeah, I'll upload the recording and put these up on there too.
thank you.
And then as we're just all in this moment of kind of tapping into our strengths, can you come up with 3 big challenges in your life and what strengths you developed from the challenges? So just kind of like a quick list. What are the first 3 challenges that come to your forefront? And what were the strengths that came of those 3 challenges? So as we hit the 8:40 point, you know, if you want to spend more time with us later on, I think it's a great idea. But with those challenges and you have the strengths that came from them, what are some ways to tie it all together and how those strengths can support you and show up for you in your business and to get that desired result? So maybe one of your strengths was that you did have perseverance, or you have more compassion or empathy for people. So if you could apply those strengths to your business, how would you do it? And then kind of as we move forward and where you can head with this, if this is like feeling good and you want to tap into those strengths, then I would definitely consider setting aside about like 40 minutes if you really want to give yourself enough time. I mean, probably like 20 minutes is what you would need, but I think it took me quite a while. Does anybody, Liz, when you did the Strength Finder, it's a pretty long.
I feel like 40 minutes is probably what you want to give yourself. You don't want to cut yourself short. I rushed through mine.
Yeah.
And it didn't take the full 40 minutes, but I was like, I didn't feel like I gave it the attention it deserved. And I'm one of those people that would like to take it again, but I've heard that before too, that your strengths, like no matter what circumstances you're under or when you take it in your life, you're always going to come up with the same strengths. So
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
give yourself 40 minutes, but don't dwell on any of the questions. And they tell you that too.
Yeah. It's like really what comes up right away.
Mhm.
So if you do the Strength Finder, where you want to go from there is kind of reflect on these questions that we brought up tonight. See if those strengths are related, which they probably are. And then also go through your top 5 strengths and see how you can apply those to your business. So like I told you guys, mine was like futuristic. Another one of mine is input. So like I get off on finding new information. Like input is my vibe. I love learning and reading and hearing about all the things. And like, how do I apply that in a way in my business where it shows up and it's beneficial for me? And then also with that being said, like I can tap into knowing like, okay, I do love futuristic stuff for myself. And I am aware of that as a strength in myself, but I know not everybody else has that strength. So where I can maybe see one step ahead for people, I also have to remember, meet them where they're at, maybe dial it back just a touch. So I'm not like telling them, all right, well, actually, you need every single oil and every single supplement and you're eating like garbage. And this is like, no, I have to also make sure that I'm aware that I'm not pushing those, which I know are a strength, but how do you hone it in and make it applicable to your business, right? So they're amazing for yourself. And I think the more that you know about your own self, the better off that we are. Like if you're anything like me, you can even, and maybe this is just because I am younger or whatever, but I can question myself at times. And so when I lean into things a little bit like Strengths Finder, human design, I don't know, some of these other things that kind of just give you some insight, it just gives you even more permission to be your authentic self. But I think there's ways that you can double dip and not only have that best version of yourself show up for you, but also how do you apply it to the business? So with that being said, like, how do you infuse your passions and those innate gifts that you have, like maybe being the futuristic or the input or the activator or whatever your strengths are? How do you infuse them into your business? And then how do you get those desired results that you have? So with that being said, to kind of just conclude this and wrap it all up, you want to be able to see yourself using those strengths in your business. And what are those fears that come up around your business, and how can you use your strengths to really overcome those fears? Because those strengths are there for us. They're innate, they're within us. They're those things like Liz, you were saying, like how you can't stop. Well, once you start to hear your body, like you can't unhear it. Like that comes up for you for a reason. And where are ways that it can just help you get to the places where you want to go? So I'll share with you, I'll type up the questions. I got this actually out of one of the retreats with Bree. So it's just a really great exercise to do to tap in with your strengths, plant new beliefs for yourself, because with these strengths finders, maybe there's places that you always kind of doubted or covered up, right? Like we put that mask on because maybe somebody told you at one time in your life you're too emotional. So now like covered up that emotional part, but maybe that's like one of your biggest strengths. So where can we plant these new beliefs in our lives to really show up and serve us and have it as the best case scenario? I can remember being told when I was a younger person that I needed to get out of the future. Like I was always trying to like see the outcome and like play these scenarios. And I can remember my parents getting super annoyed with me because they're like, why are you playing through these scenarios? Like they're not, this isn't what's happening right now. But now I can see how I can tap in and make that something that not only benefits me, but all the people that I want to serve too. So with that being said, just trying to like let go of any of the outcomes. Don't fret if the strengths that come up when you do that are like not the ideal words that you want to see for yourselves as your strengths, and try to just like plant that new belief of how it can show up and serve you and give you that best case scenario. So I will share all of this with you guys and post the recording on the Life Fuel page. And there's also a really good meditation that you can do. And I'll share that as well. It's called the Dear Doubt meditation, to just kind of wipe out anything that's coming up and get you out of that like worst case scenario and put you into the best case scenario. So So I hope you got some Gua Sha tips. And if you are ever like, what the heck is the Strengths Finder? Now maybe you have some more clarity around that and how you can use it to level up your business. And I always like to try to hop off by 8:45. So we're doing pretty good at the 8:49 point. Cool.
Thank you, Brett. It was great.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Connie.
Yes,
How did
nice
you
to see all
guys
of you.
fare with the weather? I heard it was bad down in your neck of the woods.
Honestly, we had power the whole time, but we were just a mile from where they were down for the entire week.
That
And we
was
had no-
same with us. We could see the roads that were without power from our house, but not us. So
We had no phone or internet, and we had to shut down the business on Tuesday because we
Yeah.
didn't dare have the machines running with the who knows what gonna happen.
yeah, no, that was
So,
smart.
Yeah.
All your animals and everything were good with the power.
Everybody, yep, that's all good.
Good.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight, and see
Good night.
you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Always learn from you.
Thanks.